So today I'm going to show you how to fix some of runners' most common issues. Let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, I've been running for a good amount of time now. If you can see in my hat, this is from finishing my marathon, 2026 finisher. So I know a thing or two about running. Definitely not some elite runner, but I definitely know what I'm talking about. So the three things I'm going to talk about today is one, how to not be out of breath while running. There's actually a pretty simple way to not be out of breath while running, and you have to build from there, obviously. This isn't like I'm not going to be able to tell you to go run a 7-minute mile and not be out of breath. That's not possible. But there is a correct way to build up so that you're not constantly out of breath while running and you can actually enjoy it a little more. The second one is going to be how to get rid of that annoying side stitch while you're running. That kind of cramping, kind of pain in your stomach, abdomen area. Sometimes it feels like it's right under your rib cage. That can just completely ruin a run. And guess what? There's actually a really, really simple way to fix it. And the last one is I'm going to show you how to get rid of shin splints. This is something that plagued me for years until I figured out how to solve it. And that one, again, is very simple. All three of these things you can do within you can have almost done, hopefully, within the next 2 to 4 weeks. Not having the issues happen anymore. Hopefully. Obviously, there's going to be some outlier cases, but let's get into it. So the first one I said, how to not be out of breath while running. This is very simple, and it's going to sound really stupid and obvious, but you need to slow down. One of the things that most people struggle with while running is actually pacing. If you tell most people to go jog a mile, they end up just constantly pushing the pace. And this was one of the biggest things I realized when training for a marathon. So for a marathon, my goal was to get sub 4 hours, which I did not get. I did not even come close to it because I had some injuries and whatever went on, right? But to run a 4-hour marathon, which is a very respectable marathon time, you only run a 9-mile pace for the entire thing. So one of the things that I had to conceptualize when starting to work on running is, you're not just going as fast as you can all the time. You need to understand how to hold yourself back. So how did I do that? One, it is just having a wearable or your phone that's tracking your run pace. By a wearable, I mean an Apple Watch or a Garmin or something to track your run. So just using that and having that number constantly in front of you of what your average pace is, what your current pace is, and learning how to actually pace yourself helps so much. So what I would recommend is, if you've never ran before, pick a time. Let's say you want to try and run 2 miles back to back, just consecutive. Let's say that, right? Pick a pace, and it needs to be slower than you think you can do. And if you're feeling okay, 3/4 of a mile in, maybe pick it up slightly, but don't pick it up too much because that's how you're going to start getting really out of breath and hate it and have to stop. So let's maybe pick 12-minute miles and try and do 2 miles in 24 minutes. You're not trying to impress anyone on your first run. From there, let's say that was really easy. Okay, now you're gonna go out. Let's say you wanna run 3 days later. Let's push it to, if it felt really, really easy, let's put 30 seconds. Let's be ambitious here. Do 11:30 back to back, keep going, and you'll slowly push from there. But once you're relatively near where you think you should be, and it's definitely hard, but you're not out of breath, that's when you should only be pushing it 5 seconds maybe. You shouldn't be pushing it too far. And a good gauge is, there's something called the Zone 2 talk test. There we go. Sorry, said that wrong. So what that means is, if you were doing Zone 2 cardio, which there's technically 5 zones. 5 would be when you're sprinting. 1 would be when you're walking, right? You can kind of figure out the middle of that. If you're jogging, you should be in Zone 2. How to know if you're in Zone 2? The talk test, like I just said. So what that means is you should be able to, with some slight discomfort, but not too difficult, be able to hold a conversation at that pace. So for me, when I run at a 9 to 9:30 pace per mile, I can be on the phone. I can fully have a conversation. And every once in a while, whoever I'm on the phone with might hear me slightly out of breath for a second, but that's usually after I said something for a very long time. But if you can hold a conversation, you're fine. Genuinely, I don't think a lot of people realize this, but when you're running a marathon, you're honestly talking for a lot of it. For me, for the first 12 miles of my marathon, I was basically in a constant conversation for about 8 of those first 12. The first 3-4 miles, everyone was just kind of figuring out where they belong in the race in itself. And then you kind of find your group, and then you just start talking to them. So that is how to not be out of breath. The second one, the side stitch. This is like the easiest thing in the world to do. So you're running. Let's say you're at a 10-minute pace. We're just going to use that as your number, right? We're just going to assume that's what you're doing. But that doesn't really matter. This is just for an example. So you start feeling that side stitch. First thing you're going to do, slow down. Slow down to like a very slight jog. So if you wanted like numbers, maybe that's easier for you. Maybe you go from a 10-minute pace to like a 12, 30, 13-minute pace, maybe even slower. You slow down like pretty significantly from where you're at. Then there's 2 things you're gonna do. You're gonna do this for about 30 seconds to a minute, but realistically, just when you feel the side stitch go away. You're gonna breathe in through your nose and then forcefully out through the mouth. That's it. Literally, in through the nose, forcefully out through the mouth. If you keep doing that while you're running, guess what? Your side stitch will go away. If it does not go away by a minute, it must be something different, because that has literally always worked for me. My run the other day, my side stitch kept coming and going because I was honestly pushing myself probably slightly harder than I should have been. Every time I did that though, guess what? It works. That is genuinely one of the best tricks I've ever learned while running. Because that annoying side stitch can completely ruin a run. And especially if you're training for like a race or something, if that happens like during the day you're doing a marathon, that could just completely ruin everything you had planned. So having that trick in your back pocket is key. So the last one is how to get rid of shin splints. So this is something you don't actually do during your run. This is something you have to do in preparation for your runs. So if you have really bad shin splints, what I'm going to tell you to do is take the next month off running. Use a bike instead, do something else for your cardio. So there's a specific exercise you're going to do. It's called a tibialis raise. So I will catch you in a second when I can actually show you how to do a tibialis raise. I'll explain it and then we'll keep going. Okay, so you're going to find yourself a wall. For me, I have this very narrow spot that you guys can see. So you're going to stand up against the wall. I will also show you this from a side view in a minute. But you're stand up butt against the wall. Your back does not need to be against it. If you're starting out and you're struggling, just put your hands behind your butt. But for me, I've done this for a while, so I don't really need to. You're gonna put your feet, I'd say it's a little over a foot length, as you can see out. And then from here, very simple. You are going to lift your toes up and then back down. Slight tap on the floor, but use your muscles. So you're not putting your feet all the way down. So they're hovering right above the ground. Up, down, up, down, up, down. It is almost like a reverse calf raise in some sense, and you're training the muscles in the front of your leg right here. The reason you're getting shin splints is because that muscle is too weak and your body's trying to compensate, but it can't. So it's sending you pain signals because it cannot keep up with what you're doing. But you just start doing tibialis raises, you'll be good. Typically, I just do 2 burnout sets like twice a week. That will solve this typically for you. So I'm going to show you a view of literally just my feet so that you can see this a little better, but it's a pretty simple exercise. I'm sure you'll get it. So let's quickly cut to that other view of my feet. Okay, so those are the 3 biggest problems that runners tend to face. Now, if you're thinking you were expecting me to talk about knee pain, I'm not doing that in this video. I'll give you like a 95% chance next week's video is going to be about knee pain specifically. If it's not that week, it'll be the week after for sure. So I'm going to have a video coming out about that specifically because I do feel like these 2 concepts coincide, but I've had my own fair share of knee pain. So I could go on and on about that for like 12, 15, 20 minutes probably. So I felt it deserved its own video. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you can put these 3 tips together and learn to start enjoying running. So with that being said, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next Sunday at 5 p.m. Catch you there.